Hey guys, what's up? It's been a long time since I've done my last recording, so I wanted to make sure I got back on here and did another recording for you guys. It's DJ Funk Nasty as always. This next group of videos is pretty much going to be discussing questions that you guys have asked me. In advance, I want to apologize. I don't have time to answer every single question that you guys send through, but I try to answer, at least ones that, like a group of people submit, or ones that I really think you really should get accurate answers on and a quick response too. Last thing I want is you guys buying like the wrong type of gear for your style of DJing. Which brings me to my first question from a user, and will be the basis of this video. This user wrote in and asked, "Hey Chris, I really would like to scratch, but I want to make sure that I get the right mixer, and how important is the mixer when you're scratching?" Well, to put it bluntly, if you plan to scratch, the mixer is very important. If you don't plan to scratch, it's not as important. But if you do plan to scratch, it's actually very important. And you really probably want to go to a local music store and test each one of them out before you decide on which one to buy. Because I know the crossfaders on a lot of the mixers, even the more expensive ones. I own a TTM 57 by Rain, and I own a Pioneer DJM 909. And the price tag on both of those is quite high, but the crossfaders on the two of those feel quite a bit different. I've kind of learned to adjust between the two, but you definitely want to try out the mixer in a music store first prior to buying it if possible. That's a big thing when buying a scratch mixer. Going back to what I was saying, yes, the mixer is very important. For one, what I just discussed with the crossfader, make sure it's something that you're used to, something that feels right, because you're going to be using that quite a bit. The other thing the mixer should have is generally it should have adjustable crossfader curves, and optionally also adjustable channel faders. Some guys like to scratch with the channel faders, so if you're just starting off scratching and you're not really quite sure which one you may like, even though the standard for most guys is the crossfader, some guys I've seen actually scratch completely with the channel faders, so you might want to check that out as well. Most scratch mixers are 2-channel mixers. There are some mixers with a few more, like 3 or 4, that can kind of be pawned as scratch mixers, but in general you don't want the extra channels, basically because when you're scratching you're generally going back and forth between 2 channels quite quickly, and you don't need that extra stuff to get in the way. You don't want to be bumping into extra faders. You want to have 1 channel here, 1 channel here, 1 deck here, 1 deck there, and you're basically going to be going between the two quite quickly. So most are 2 channels for that reason. Plus they're smaller and they fit in between 2 turntables pretty good. So that's another thing. Another option you might want to consider looking at are hamster switches. Hamster switches are basically a switch. Think of it as a reverse switch, or a mirror switch. Pretty much when you hit the hamster switch, everything gets flip-flopped. So if you're scratching on the left deck and you're using the fader with your right hand, and you're scratching on the left deck with your left hand, normally when you cut the sound in, the fader's going to the middle. On hamster mode, on the other hand, it's just the opposite. When you move the fader the opposite way, it's going from the middle, or from the opposite side, into the other side, if you feel what I'm saying. It's kind of hard to describe, but basically just think of it as a mirror. Some guys find it easier to do certain scratches hamster style. I know for myself, I'm still working on my crabs. I'm not real good on those yet, but I've found for myself crabs tend to be easier in hamster mode. I mostly use the left deck to scratch with, so I'm still kind of picking up the right hand deck. It's it takes some getting used to. But anyway, yeah, that's that. A lot of guys ask me, well, what brands do you recommend? Well, I don't want to recommend too many brands because there are, I don't want to stick one company out ahead too far because there are several different brands I like and they're all pretty good mixers. You definitely do need to go in and try it out. The reason I got the Rane TTM 57 mainly is because of the built-in Serato controls, effects, crate scrolling, track selection. Basically allows you to use the trackpad on the laptop as little as possible. Plus, it's just a great mixer, and it's also very good for scratching, of course. The Crossfader may take a little bit of getting used to for some people. It doesn't feel like the Pioneer Crossfaders at all. It feels completely different. I started off on the Pioneer Crossfader, and I've gotten very accustomed to that. And I still do have a DJM 909, which has optical faders, and I love it. I've sold my DJM 707, which is a discontinued model. If you can find it, you can go for that because it's much less expensive. If you don't need the effects, go for the 707 if you can find it because it's basically the same mixer, same crossfader, everything, only without effects built in. You can get it for much cheaper because it's discontinued. This mixer you see right back here is the 57. It's kind of hard to see, but I got my turntables back there. I could show you those a little bit later. I like to switch my gear up every couple years, so you may see me with some gear in some of these movies, and then you might see me with other gear in others. So I like to kind of, as the times change, I like to kind of update the equipment. Primarily now, I use Serato Scratch Live. I use it either with the 57 and two 1200s back there. Sometimes I'll use it with the Pioneer CDJ 1000s, but it's normally that mixer. And sometimes I'll flip-flop the Pioneer 909 out for that mixer, and use the Serato box. I have the mixer as well as the box, so one of them's kind of like a backup for the other. Yeah, back to what we were saying. As far as mixers, brands I would recommend, like I said, experiment with them. Find the one you like. Rane, definitely very good brand. You can't go wrong with Rane. You will pay quite a bit of money for the good ones, but very good mixers. Vestax, pretty good. I don't use Vestax a whole lot, but I've heard good reviews from people I know. Pioneer, very good. Another one that you will pay quite a bit for. Pioneer is definitely pretty pricey, but they definitely do make good mixers. Generally tend to stay away from Gemini. Stay away from Newmark if you can. Stay away from Behringer if you can. These are all like the low end, so to speak. A lot of them are made for beginning DJs, but I wouldn't use any of them to scratch with. With scratching, you need very tight accuracy, and a lot of those mixers just don't cut it as far as precision DJing, so to speak. But anyway, that's basically it. Like I said, make sure you go out and try the mixer first. Very important, because the crossfaders, the feel of them vary quite a bit from mixer to mixer. Just because one mixer is more expensive than another doesn't mean it's the best and it's the best for everybody. You may find that a little $400 or $500 mixer will do just as good, if not better, than a $1,200 mixer, depending on what you're trying to do and how you like the way it is. Okay, and I'll do a couple more videos on other questions. Thanks.